So is it clearly visible to all? My screen will
Yes,
share.
it is visible, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
perfect,
it is
perfect,
visible.
perfect, perfect. So today we'll be talking about determining a proper value proposition for the early age startup, since it's an era where we basically talk about startups every day. We talk about innovations every day. We talk about developing the nation with the tech ecosystem. So it's very important to talk about the value proposition and how these early age startups are going to be determining the exact value proposition for their startups. So I'm Peer Ahmad Ali Shah, and I'm project coordinator at the Rushal Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Information Technology Board. And I'm basically been working with around 200 plus startups right from 2018 onwards. I'm basically a software engineer and a serial entrepreneur. So, in today's discussion, we'll be covering all these topics and introduction to this topic, a bit of the definitions which we formally go through of the value proposition, uh, what the components of value proposition actually are, then the customer segmentations, and the main part of customer jobs, gains, and pains. Then crafting a unique value proposition. And I call it crafting because it's not actually there. We have to craft it uniquely according to the customers. We'll be talking about that. Then a proper value proposition canvas is going to be presented. The competitive analysis, which we oftenly forget about when we talk about the value proposition models. Testing iteration obviously is a part of this is a process which never stops. Then aligning the company goals, communicating value proposition, and a bit of we'll talking about the case studies and success stories. So the total number of slides are 14, and I'll be taking around 20 minutes in this presentation. We can also go for questions. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask. And at the end of this presentation, I will be entertaining other questions if you have any. I welcome you all to this presentation and this talk about value proposition model. It's all about how compelling and how aggressive value proposition model are you going to craft for your startup, for your business. Just all about this specific thing. The what is the concept of a value proposition model or a value proposition? So it's clearly a very concise, a very brief, a very clear statement explaining why a customer should choose your product and or service over competitors. So means if you are solving certain problem in the society through your startup or your company or your solution, so there must have been someone else prior to your service who are providing these services in a different way. Why and how would you compel your customer to choose you over your competitors? This is a clear cut line, a single line where you have to tell them that this is my unique value proposition. Everybody asks you what is your USP when you tell them about your startup, your company, your idea. So they ask you what is your unique selling point. This is the point that we call a unique selling point, a USP. That why a customer should choose me over my product, my service over the competitors. It basically should be highlighting the customer pains and the unique benefit that you basically are providing against those pain points. We'll break it down a bit to these essential components. This breakdown is of a value proposition model. The customer segments, the value propositions, and the channels. All of them are equally important because the customer segments is something that we should not take light. You have the age group, you have a gender group, you have an education group, you have a certain class, a specific class of the society, you have all the classes included. So you basically have to segment, you have to segregate your customers from other in order to serve them better, in order to add value through your product or your service in their lives. This is why you have to segregate them, you have to segment them from others. I often tell these startups that it's not even possible that my solution, my service is going to be for everyone. It's not even possible. It should be, and it always is, for specific people. So those segmentations is way too important, and I suggest over here, once you want to go for this customer segmentation and customer segregation, you actually need to look into the ethnographic study of these customers. Even then, and only then, you are able to add value to their lives, their systems, their businesses. Depends upon if you are B2B or B2C. So this value propositions and customer segmentation, these basically have a gap and always has these gaps, that how I will let my customers, my customer segments know about the value I can add to their life. For that, I'll have to choose certain channels. And channels, they often say know your customer. So which channel should I use to reach out to my customer? And then if my customer knows about my value proposition model, my service, then how should I be able to make it possible that my value proposition model or my business should be added to theirs? So these are the channels basically where I find my customer, where I try to take this opportunity which I am creating, this unique selling point that I am taking to those customers, and I am relieving them from their pain. These are the channels that actually are going to help me out. So this is a basic, a very simple breakdown of this customer, the value proposition model. How often should we know, and how later should we know our customer? It's very important to know your customer from the basic. You need to specify their needs, preferences, and challenges. Every customer segment have different needs, they have different preferences, they have different challenges. A housewife won't have the same challenges, maybe of different nature, same challenges but of different nature, than those working outside. A male of 40, 45 is going to have different preferences, different challenges than a boy of 18 to 25. And similarly goes for a person with 50 plus. So age is a bracket, gender is a bracket, marital status is a bracket. You can also create a window for education, because that is also way too important. It depends upon the product or depends upon the service that you actually want to provide, or you want to sell a product. To whom and why, how should you reach them? This is why we need to know our audience. This is why we need to know all these things: needs, preferences, and challenges related to each and every segment. Maybe the startup I'm working on, or the idea I am working on, or the product I'm working on may have 5 customer segments. The needs, preferences, and challenges of 5, each of them is going to be changed. Each of them is going to be different from the others. So I have to work for each and every one of them separately. It's even that we'll have to dig down to a level where we'll have, once we want to post a certain ad on social media, we'll be keeping in mind a specific audience. It cannot be a generic one. If it's a notification, if it's a circular, it's if it's something that we actually want to announce, then it's fine. But if there is something new coming up, if it's about a product, if it's about our services, then the audience need to be specific, because we want to make this post reach our exact audience and not want to waste our time. We don't need to reinvent the wheel each time. This is why we basically segregate these audience times and again. So how do we need to understand what the customer needs are, is basically, and where does it place in my value proposition model? So these are basically the jobs to be done, the everyday work, the everyday job that a customer performs. So that's basically what I'm going to add value to. I'm not going to change their life. I'm going to add value to them and analyze the gains. So at times there is nothing, no problematic things going on with the customer, but the customer actually himself is not even aware that there is a gain that they can basically acquire. There are at times pains, but customer get used to them. So when you dig down and study your customer, you play on their pains, not on their gains. At times on their gains as well. But these are the 2 points that where these are going to be the basic functions of your product or your service. So what's the biggest pain of a delivery service? I can go in rainy season if I don't have a vehicle. Mostly in the demographics, the working woman don't get time in the office hours, to go to banks or to go to the official other correspondence. So if I provide them with a delivery service and I work from them, that is a pain that she or he cannot leave their office. I am giving them this gain. So every pain of the customer is going to be treated in terms of a gain and even relief. This is how you're going to create your recurring customer. And this is how you're going to add value to their lives. Getting this? Then, as I talked about this earlier as well, that we are not the first one doing this. There must have been people who already were on it. There must have been people, there must have been other startups, there must have been other apps or services who were already helping these customers out with their problem. How do I create a unique value proposition? As a customer knows what aligns to their needs, and as much as it's aligned to their normal life, as much as I don't perturb them anymore. Says it's very simple. I'll make you understand with a very simplistic way that it's possible once you develop an app, and that's way too harder than in use than to call. So why not to add a call for your service? If the customer wants to come to you, he should come easily. You need to do this competitor analysis and then dig down how you can actually contribute to it in a more convenient way. So it's all about the convenience of the customer. The more convenient, the more desirable. This is basically a visual model of the value proposition model. So in this model, what we actually do is that the customer segment, every customer segment is going to have these pains. This jobs to do is basically the basic functioning, basic working of their day-to-day life, their basic working. And there are certain problems to every customer segment in their day-to-day life, what they're doing. What we are going to do is that their our products and services are basically going to be related to their jobs to do. Okay, the jobs they are doing, we have to deliver through our product or our service. Then in those products and service, we have to cater as a pain relievers for their pain, and as a gain created for the gain that they're actually looking for, that yeah, if this happens it's good, even better. My pain is this, if it's covered, fine, very good. But if this happens also, so this is something a customer expects. But on a later stage, if you provide them right away in your product or service, you actually get that customer. This is how we acquire our customer. This is the process of customer acquisition. In competitive analysis, the ground realities are need to be checked. You need to check the realities on the ground, and understanding a competitor, you have to go through, thorough analysis. You have to find out a gap which they actually are having. You have to dig down for the loopholes that other competitors are having, and that's the area, that's the place where you have to hit. That is the ground, that is your level playing field. That is the place where you have to pitch your idea to the customer. And for that, you need to do this competitive analysis in all the aspects possible on a critical eye, so that you may be able to find out these gaps between the customer and your competitors. You have to test, since market validation of the idea of a business is way too important. Once it's not validated from the customer, you can verify your idea that my idea is working good, it's fine. But once it's market validated, since the aim of the value proposition model is to produce a product market fit. A product market fit is when your product is basically working for the customer. It's relieving its pains, it's giving them gains. So and the customer is happy using it. So that's where you get the product market fit. And for product market fit, you need to iterate it each time. The feedback of the customer is not to be ignored. You have to embed it, because the customer, they say, is God. They say something, it's need to be there. It actually needs to be a vital part of the customer. I cannot tell on behalf of the customer that this is what I want in this app or this product or this service. The customer, their data, their feedback, then the feedback is to be analyzed and make necessary iterations. And it's a continuous process. You never have to stop it. You have to keep on testing, keep on taking these feedbacks from the customers, keep on iterating, keep on updating. This is a change for betterment. Then your company, your startup needs, it's always there. It has a goal, an aim, an ambition, and once that is there, the objective of a company needs to be integrated everywhere. This is how we brings on this consistency in the companies. The objectives need to be aligned, integrated. If the objective is to achieve certain sustainable goals, these SDGs need to be there. You should showcase them through your social media. You should showcase them through your company profile. You should showcase them through your posts, your text, your font, your colors, your activities, your events. Each and everything needs to be within the circle, and it should be user-centered. This is how you will achieve a user-centered design, aligning the company goals with the users and producing a unique value proposition. This helps you grow your business. This helps you create success, bring along or success. So how are you basically going to articulate this message to or convey this message to your customer? The effective most ways are on the platforms where your customer is available most of the time. Your target audience is on Instagram all the time, and you keep on posting on Facebook. So you don't even know about your customer. You don't know how to articulate your message to them. Your customer would never know that there was certain solution. You need to understand where your audience is going to be. If it's on the road and it's nowhere on social media, you need to go for hoarding, boardings, and other advertisements. The conventional advertisements ads are at times they are fruitful, but majority of the times they are not. So you need to look into it and where your customer actually are. You need to be consistent across all the channels. If your customer is not coming, you need to keep them updated with your new upcoming arrivals and all. You need to be user centered and in touch always, you know. And there are success stories to every product, every business. If you already are a kind of market validated, this is not for an early stage, but for market validated idea product who already is in the market. If you have certain case studies, embed them in your pitch, embed them in your social media posts, embed them in your marketing, and integrate them like you are doing them, just to let your customer know that these things are happening and to make your customer a recurring one. This is how you well craft your value proposition. You already have this work, but this is how you craft it. And oftenly we say is that uh, you have to learn the art of storytelling. If you don't have a story to sell, you cannot sell a product. If you don't have a proper way of communicating with your customer, if you don't have that mechanism to reach out to your customer in a way that they like, you don't have a real world impact. And need to integrate that your value proposition model. This is where we actually work. I'll be glad to answer questions if you have any.
Peter Sahab, thank you so much for your valuable time. We are running short of time, but I just have one question. Is it possible, can you summarize this question in a short way, that how to do a personal branding? Like if someone wants to do a personal branding, can you answer this? It's a question for me as well and for all of the people as well. Thank you.
Fine. So thank you, Dr. Nam. Well, when we talk about personal branding, it includes both related to as a business and individual as well. Firstly, you need to look for whom you want to brand this product or yourself. If it's for a company, your company is going B2B or B2C, you need to go likewise. And the aim, the company objective, you need to bring along all those things. Plus, it should start from selection of font accordingly, should select from selection of the background and images, selection of the logo, its colors, and each and everything. Only then you will be able to connect, only then you will be able to reach out to your customers, and only then the people you actually want to connect to will click on the name or the company profile that you actually are building. Hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, that was so nice. Great. Thank you so much for your time, Peter Sahab.
Pleasure.